I'm nigh. Long loading times. One of my few complaints with the game, but there are no loading times otherwise. I did start something up earlier, which I had to cancel all of a sudden. That's why we're not getting the announcements off of Isabelle. Nothing was going on. So, not a tremendous deal there. Ooh, nice. That's why you're going to see I do have a couple fossils. We've done a couple of things today. I already picked up KK Fusion. Just had to stop the recording all of a sudden. Hey, B. The fishing tourney is underway. There's a prize I have my eyes on, but I hope everyone just has fun. Fishing tourney, you say? Oh, hello. Ah, got some stuff for talking to my neighbors. Nice. We're getting a lot of Nook Miles. What's up, CJ? Yo, what's up, C Sports fan? I'm CJ coming at you live. Hang on. Of course I'm live. I'm right here. Anyway, I'm anchoring the premiere event of the spring C Sports season, the fishing tourney. So shine those hooks and get those reels ready, because between now and 6 p.m., the tourney is on. The rules of the fishing tourney are easy breezy. You just got to catch as many fish as you can in 3 minutes. Every fish you catch nets you points, net enough points, and you can swap them for some slick fish swag. Also, there's a cooler in the tent. Any fish you catch will automatically get stowed there, keeps the pockets dry. That means as long as you've got a fishing rod, you have all you need to compete. Simple, right? And you can enter as many times as you like. What do you say? Ready to get your feet wet in the fishing tourney? The entry fee is waived the first run. Cool. Sign me up. Aye, aye. All right, I'm going to spray 3 minutes on the clock for you to catch as many fish as you can. Oh, and there's also a bonus that'll backstroke in if you catch at least 3 fish. You done nibbling all that? Because it's time to launch. Okay, so I have to... Oh, come on. So, because you're all the way over there... Okay, let's look for some fish. So today, my topic of choice is going to be why there are no... Okay, there we go. My topic of choice is going to be nostalgia. So I was sitting there watching a streamer play the game Snowboard Kids 2. And by watching, I'm going to be honest, I really wasn't so much, like, watching. I was realistically, you know, kind of listening to them while I was kind of doing other things on Final Fantasy XIV. Not the point, though. So the point was that I was kind of, you know, keeping an ear out for what they were doing, and I was listening to kind of how their conversation was going on. And this streamer, not Snowboard Kids 2, Snowboard Kids 1. The streamer was not the, you know, biggest fan of Snowboard Kids, which, you know what? Cool. Not everybody has to be the biggest fan of everything. But I glanced over at their chat, and their chat was very much divided between people who were into Snowboard Kids and people who were not. And it wasn't like this militant divide. People were, you know, people weren't, like, getting angry at each other over it. It was just, you know, very much a, you know, people were really like, man, I can't believe you don't like this game. Or other people were like, man, I can't believe anybody could like this game. It was this kind of endless back and forth. And, you know, I was kind of sitting there, and Snowboard Kids was part of my childhood. I believe I have Snowboard Kids 2 sitting on my shelf behind me. So it's definitely one of those games that I, you know, really enjoyed when I was a kid, and definitely contributed to me liking the Mario Kart style racer. It definitely contributed to me wanting to snowboard when I got old enough to actually do so. You know, there was a lot of contributions that that Snowboard Kids had to me and my love of certain types of games, things like that. And the music is just absolutely awesome. Like, Snowboard Kids has an amazing musical soundtrack. You know, that is one of those things that I can hum and snap to, and it will, you know, it'll definitely be on my phone, stuff like that. So, what I was curious about, though, is that there were people who could not accept that Snowboard Kids does have... Oh, crap. They could not accept that Snowboard Kids is not, like, a perfect game. And that's what kind of surprised me. Because I was sitting there and I was like, you know, Snowboard Kids, it's a game. It's an enjoyable game. But it's definitely not perfect. This game certainly has issues. I don't think there's any, God damn it. I don't think there's any denying that game is not, you know... There are significant, like, control issues. There are some, like, gameplay weirdness. There are some kind of design choices that are certainly a little bit odd in the game. One that like, kind of everybody talks about is the, okay. Reel it in. The fishing tourney is over. Okay. So I guess let's go, first of all, let's dig up this so I don't forget about it. And let's go talk to CJ. That was, not the best showing, I don't think. Okay, CJ, how you feeling? Hey, hey, there's my favorite anglers. How was it? Have fun. The fish you caught are all partying in the cooler. You can fetch them later. Or if you don't want them, I'll buy them. I need fresh fish for my live stream to keep my followers following. But first things first, let's check out what you caught in the tourney. Looks like you stowed 5 fish in the cooler. Oh, with a solo bonus waiting in at 3 or more fish. That's 7 points. I'm so hyped. Pour that into your points pool. You got enough points in your pool, you can swap them for some slick fish swag. Okay. Sell them all. That's money. I like that money. Make sure the cooler's clear if you want to serve tourney again. Okay. So let's start grabbing some stuff and give it to him. But I think the major point that really got my attention was just that there are some people who the nostalgia goggles are so strong for these folks that they could not admit that, you know, Snowboard Kids is not the most amazing game on the planet. And you know what? I really like Snowboard Kids. I really do. Now there's something else. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna sell you some fish. Let's sell some fish. Oh, don't you worry, my boy. I got fish to the gills for you. Spilling a whole school, huh? Altogether, that's 35,000 bells. Sold! And don't worry, I have more. It was definitely a, you know, kind of a strangeness to the idea that there were, you know, these people who, I guess, as I said, you know, had the nostalgia goggles on. And, you know, it's definitely something that we have as people, nostalgia. I mean, it's no surprise to anybody, especially if you know anything about marketing or you pay attention to, you know, to the market. People are very willing to just dig into that old school stuff. You know, I don't know what the, I don't know if there's a specific psychological reason for it at the end of the day, but if you really kind of, this is just a bug, right? Yeah. If you really kind of look in on how people kind of act around their pasts, you know, the good stuff was really good, the bad stuff was really bad. Everything is kind of heightened in your history. And I think that's part of what nostalgia is. It's just, you know, a increase in how you feel that your past was, just, you know, heightening it. But there's definitely people out there who just seriously cannot get past that feeling. They cannot get past, you know, the past was good or the past was bad. And it kind of amazes me. Like, I really enjoy Snowboard Kids. I think it's a fantastic game. I really have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, the cartridge is, you know, 5 to 8 feet from me. It's something I'm going to play on, you know, either on stream or I'm going to play it on the channel at some point. Snowboard Kids 1 and 2, we'll knock them both out. I just need to get I just need something that allows me to actually record off of N64. I don't have a converter right now to convert the composite cables into HDMI. And unfortunately, HDMI is the only way I can record right now. But yeah, it's... Even though I love the game... Well, love the games, you know, plural, Snowboard Kids 2. Even though I love the games, I can definitely acknowledge that there are definitely issues with the games. And, you know, there are... If you go look at the... you know, the, I guess I would say the checkpoint system, the lap system, where you have to, kind of glide your way in to the ski lift. That definitely causes people issues, because the ski lift changes sides, changes where it is. It only, allows one person in at a time. Like, there are these distinctive issues that just cause trouble all over the place, that a lot of people just cannot figure out. Okay, let's go. Oh, hello. Oh, the 19th is Pietro's birthday. Cool. I'll have to remember that. But definitely, I don't know. I wonder why people will not accept that, got the blue intricate walls in there again. I just wonder why there are some people who won't allow for something to not be as good today as it necessarily was, 10 to 15 years ago, I guess. I mean, I think there's... It's the same issue, I think, that I have with video game ratings. The people who actually rate those video games. Because, I sit here and I'm like... I guess partially it's not objective, but also the rating needs to be something that can stand the test of time. So if you're saying that a game is a 10 out of 10, this game needs to be a 10 out of 10 10 years from now, too. And accounting for, admittedly, accounting for certain things like graphics will get better, AI will get better. Okay, we can kind of acknowledge that. But the gameplay should still hold up, years from now. If it's innovative now, it should probably still feel as innovative. And that's not to say that, that's not to say that there's no chance that... I'll give you an example. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. 10 out of 10 for most gamers. At least those who enjoy Zelda-type games. But 10 out of 10 for most gamers. Very innovative, had a lot of stuff going on. Well, we've had a lot of games that have iterated on that Legend of Zelda formula over the years. Especially the 3D style formula. Everything from, other Zeldas to something like Darksiders, for example. We've had other games that have done similar things. So that doesn't mean that Ocarina of Time's use of those does not still feel amazing nowadays. But there are other, like Call of Duty, for example. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, you can potentially make a case for. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, on the other hand, I don't know if you'd still say it's a 10 out of 10. I don't know what its rating was back in the day, but knowing video game ratings back when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, I'm pretty sure at least someone gave it a 10 out of 10. But it's not particularly innovative, especially coming after Call of Duty 1. Like, a lot of the stuff that Call of Duty 1 did, 2 didn't make new stuff on, it just iterated on. And that's not a bad thing, it just means that I don't think you can necessarily say that 2 is a 10 out of 10. And it's that same feeling, I think, that gets some of these nostalgia glasses rolling, because these folks just do not want to acknowledge that, when it comes to rating, this isn't perfect, and then when it comes to when it comes to nostalgia, that this wasn't amazing, back in the day. Not saying that it's not good, just there's amazing. So I sit here and I watch, gameplay like this from old games, and I see people, for me especially, it's like Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is an amazing example, and I've brought it up a couple of times. My upset with the game has cooled a fair bit since I originally played. I'm not quite as I'm not quite as, like, angry against the game as I once was. Well, angry's not the right word. I can distinctively say. But my dislike of the game is not as strong as it would have been a number of years ago. But I don't feel the same rosy feeling towards Final Fantasy VII that a lot of people feel. I don't feel it is actually as good as a lot of people think it was. But then again, I played it significantly later than a lot of other folks. I definitely understand that people really enjoy the game for its, story, which at the time was a big deal. I don't think its story really holds up all that well. I don't think its gameplay holds up all that well. But I definitely can acknowledge that, it probably was awesome at the time. But that's about as much as I can actually say. As much as I'd like to, as much as I hate to say that, as much as I know that there will be people in you know, there'll be folks out there, someone out there is going to hear me talk about Final Fantasy VII this way, and is going to be very angry at me that Final Fantasy VII is their favorite game, and I'm sitting here saying that I don't think it's all that good. And you know what? You're allowed to have your opinion. That's cool. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. But I think there's this disconnect because I'm not looking at it through... Ooh, golden flooring. I'm not looking at it through the eyes of nostalgia on my end. You know, I didn't play it as a kid. I played it as an adult. I played it after I had a much wider variety of games. Admittedly, I also played it after I played a lot of other games, which I feel did a lot of those things better. And that's probably why. I've played better ATB battle systems. I've played better story and better writing. So that probably also has a major effect on how I feel that 7 did. But there's, again, that nostalgia glasses sits there. And instead of acknowledging that, you know what? Some of this stuff probably hasn't held up all that well. That makes perfect sense. You know, I can't blame this person. Or maybe I should, you know, let's say at worst, you know, you would, God, I hate when these butterflies do this. Come here, you little bastard. You know, instead of someone going, maybe I should kind of acknowledge that, you know, time has not necessarily been kind to this game. You know, we have people who are like, oh my god, you don't like this game that is my favorite, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. You are a terrible person, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to, you know, I'm angry at you, blah, blah, blah. It's this, blah. It's ridiculous. Okay, hold up. Doing a very... There we go. That's how I want to do this. It's like a logic puzzle, you know? No, do not put that away. It's like, how do you get a, what was it, the snake, the fox, and the hen across the river? It's like, it's one of those puzzles. How do you get just 90,000 bells out of your wallet? I'll admit, there are definitely some games that I look back on that I have my rose-colored glasses too. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. I very much do. There are games that, that I look back on and, I really think that this game was amazing. What I'd like to say... Okay, there's my bell tree for the day. What I'd like to say, however, kind of acknowledging that, I would like to say that if you were to challenge me on it, and you were to say to me, hey, Nye, have you played that game recently? That game actually has some significant issues. Would you reevaluate it today? I'd like to say that I would say yes. That I would go and, probably think about it a little bit more and then come back and say, you know what? Now that I think about it, it might not have been all that good, but it was still very fun as a kid. But I think it's that difference that people cannot tweak that thought, I guess. That's not really the word I want, tweak, but, they can't think the thought that this game was a lot of fun for me once upon a time. It's still allowed to be fun, even if it's not as good as I thought it was. My evaluating it today... Saying it's not a perfect game today does not make it any less fun. But some people just do not have that ability, I guess, to think that way. I guess being objective as opposed to subjective. Oh wow, we haven't had that happen before. Okay, let's go put some money away in the ABD. And it applies to a lot of things. I think there are distinctly some you know, movies, there are books. I mean, I've told you guys about the books that I like, and a lot of the books I like, a lot of my favorite books, are typically young adult novels. I really kind of enjoy that because I guess that's the kind of the fantasy world and the writing that I've gotten kind of trapped into, that my brain, associates with the most fun I've had reading, and I kind of sit in there. I'm not going to say these are the best books around. I am going to say that they're enjoyable and fun, and I have good memories of them, and that's kind of about all I'll say. Oh, no! Did not want that. Where'd it go? No. No. Yes. I want that to stay there. Is that... There we go. But I think it's very hard for some people to do that. That said, there are some things that I think do hold up. So, going back and looking, going to Snowboard Kids, and I can definitely sit here and say, you know what? There are some distinctive issues with this game's control scheme. Oh, I'll give you that. I will give you so much that. Some of the controls are not good in that game. There are some definite things in the game. Fishing tourney. Please participate in the fishing tourney, which is held every spring, summer, fall, and winter. Give you Nook Miles as a reward the first time you participate each season. Okay, cool. Springborn Free Spirit. But there's definitely a there's definitely, I think, a point in my mind where some things do kind of grow and persist better than others. And one of the things, like, for example, while controls and graphics kind of continually get better, for some reason I feel like music can persist. So, like, I was listening to the Snowboard Kids music, and, damn, that music is good. Like, you have to be into chiptunes and you have to be into video game music, I think is the caveat there. If you're not into that, there's kind of nothing in here I need. If you're not into that type of music, and I know a lot of people who aren't, I know my family very much isn't. They get annoyed every time they have to ride in the car with me because that's usually what's on my radio. But if you're not into that music, you're not going to like it. But if you do enjoy video game music, and I do, like, I very much enjoy video game music, the music in those games is amazing. I actually had to go and see if I could find a way to get the album in there or recordings or something, so that way I could listen to it more often. There are video game music soundtracks that I hum about kind of on the regular. One example actually is I hum Green Greens from Kirby. I hum The Great Gourmet Race a lot. One that I didn't actually realize what it was that I end up humming, like, with incredible regularity, actually, is, I think it's called Freeze Easy Peak from Diddy Kong Racing. There's a specific part of there, da 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 da. That part. It's a, significant portion of Freeze Easy Peak, but whenever I'd heard Freeze Easy Peak as a song from I guess other sources, like when I'd go ahead and grab the Misty Tea. I've always liked that, and I think that t-shirt's been around for a long time in the game. Grab the Cypress Plant too, because I'm not sure if I have that one. Whenever I've heard that song, I've always heard other portions of the song, and I guess I just didn't understand which song I was listening to. Like, I thought it was like Freeze Easy Peak or similar, but I wasn't sure it was that one. So being able to hear that and, like, knowing what it is now I know, okay, I need to go find that song, find remixes of that song, because that's the one that I routinely hum. But there are, I think, a lot of very good, it is funny as hell to see Pietro in this hat, I swear. This is amazing. You know what they say about fishing, right? Well, please tell me, because I can't catch anything. Okay. By the way, I'm not going to do much fishing tourney on screen. Maybe spend a few minutes on it after I finish doing my daily stuff, but... Speaking of, we're, we're getting pretty done with our daily stuff today already. Hi, Blathers. Okay, let's assess some fossils. I only have 3 today? Must have missed one somewhere. I'll have to go looking for it. Oh, hey, we actually have something to donate. Cool. We haven't had something to donate in like 2 days, 3 days. And it's a Brachioskull. It's a Brachioskull! I'll skip the presentation for now. Hope we can find the remaining parts. Unfortunately, we have not completed the fossil yet. Okay. We'll keep an eye out. Okay. Man, I do greatly enjoy a lot of video game music, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still browsing. In case you're curious, from like a week ago, I'm still slowly going through the OC Remix website. I haven't even finished listening to all the music of games I like, much less games I've maybe never heard of or never listened to. I have to actually go through those lists eventually. But there's some good stuff in there. And it's really, I think the tunes in general are good stuff, which is why I like the remixes so much. Just the bass sounds are fantastic if you just start there. And there are some things, you know, especially like the Grant Kirkhope sounds. I can't remember who did Diddy Kong Racing. It's rare, but it's not Grant, I don't think. But you know, there are some composers in games that you know, you listen to anything done by that composer and you know you're gonna have a good time. I think that's it's a little bit like you know, normal music artists, but I think there's a like it's not common that I hear like a Grant Kirkhope song that I don't like, but I do frequently hear like I'm a fan of the Eagles, for example. But as much of a fan of the Eagles as I may be, there are definitely songs that they have made that I'm not the biggest fan of. But man, like that man can do no wrong in my eyes. They might. I don't think he's ever done a song I dislike. There may not be songs that I might not tap my toes to as much, but I can't think of a song he's made that I dislike. I don't know. As I said, I just kind of enjoy video game music, and I really like that as we go forwards, there are plenty of composers that will do the chiptune stuff, which I really enjoy. I think, you know, the old school kind of retro sounds continue to be awesome for me. Like, they've never kind of stopped that way. I enjoy listening to, you know, them in general. And there's also, you listen to something like Ace Combat, for example, which, you know, that game goes into full orchestras. And, you know, I enjoy the hell out of the full orchestra of that. So there's this wide range. But, you know, a lot of the music that I listen to on a regular everyday basis, god damn it, there goes my shovel. I have iron, right? Oh, I actually do. Hold on, I actually do have the wood to craft. Okay. A lot of the music I listen to on a regular everyday basis is video game music, because a lot of the stuff that I listen to is straight catchy off the get-go. I mean, I think that's the thing, is it's music, especially also, that I can listen to time and time again. You know, you think about, you know, yes, there's the, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you end up, you know, listening to that just doesn't get old, and I always end up being amazed by that. You know, I've listened to a lot of music, like the Katamari soundtracks I've been listening to for forever, you know. I mean, at the very least, since Katamari Forever, which was a good number of years ago, let's be fair, as much as I love that game, it's getting fairly old. But Katamari Forever, and then also the older Katamari soundtracks, I've been listening to those games for the longest, and I never get tired of them. They're just, I love those songs. And for some reason, just the games that get put into, or the songs that get put into video games, they just have a habit of being like that for me. They are music that I can, you know, listen to for whatever I'm doing. Okay, I think that's going to be it today. I think we're going to do a shorter day today, guys. There's not really much... Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't go check out clothing. There's not really much to do right now. We've gotten a lot of stuff done recently. I'm only missing like 1 bug and 2 fish. It's amazing how the day just zooms by when I'm sitting at the sewing machine. I work hard, but I love what I do, so I can't complain about much. Oh, good. Okay, let's go look to see what our clothing looks like today. So what do we got? So we got a camo style bomber jacket. Do I like jungle or Arctic camo more? Guess we'll go with Arctic. Let's see. We got, ooh, I like the embellished denim pants. I'm a fan of that. I'm pretty sure we already have the terry cloth nightcap, but I'll grab it anyways. And a hockey mask. Let's see. Get some dotted knee highs. Ooh, oh, strappy heel. Absolutely, yes. Do we want ruby or do we want onyx? I'm a fan of onyx. Okay, there we go. Yep, now that's an outfit for a serial killer. Yeah, this is an outfit that is this is a Norman Bates outfit for sure. Anything else I want? We do have the cycling shirt. I like this one a little bit more, actually. We already have a gang picnic shirt. I don't really care much for the striped shirt, though I'm sure I have one. Hey, we could be Waldo. I already have the pants. I think we're good. Okay, so we've made our purchases. Gonna be a shorter episode, I guess, because there's just not as much to do today. Like I said, I could spend a fair amount of time doing the fishing. I might do that offline, but it's not one of those things that I just want to sit here and record. I got other stuff I want to do today that doesn't include that. So, thanks for watching, y'all. I love you all. Let me know about what stuff you guys are nostalgic about. Kind of what topics that you know, what things you think couldn't be better, or what things that you thought, you know, were as amazing as they could be, and went back later on and saw, you know what, this isn't quite as good as I thought it was. Not saying you don't have you can't enjoy it, just saying, you know, stuff you're like, man, you know, in hindsight, having actually touched it recently and not just in history, I can acknowledge that this is not the end-all be-all that I originally thought it was. So let me know, and also let me know, you know, video game music-wise. I'm always looking for games with poppin' soundtracks. I know Mega Man always has a great soundtrack. Sonic tends to, Mario tends to, Zelda tends to, you know, Final Fantasy games always seem to be good. But there are hidden gems. Like, as I said, the Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Ace Combat games, I think are fantastic. Katamari, Kirby. There's a lot of these kind of more minor games that tend to have really amazing soundtracks that aren't really well known for their soundtrack specifically. And those are the ones that I'm looking for. So if you know some good games that have some, you know, kickin' soundtracks that I should be looking into for my regular everyday consumption, do let me know. I'm kind of curious, and let's let everybody else know as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.